Here's how you break your Speedo cable. Run the cable up here on the outside of the steering column support, and it gives you a nice sharp angle into the back of the gauge. Now once you've broken your Speedo cable, you want to remove your inner cable and your outer cable. You'll probably want to pull your gauges out too. The end of your inner cable is most likely stuck in the back of the gauge, and that's fine. You've got to pull your gauges out anyway to get your outer cable up through the steering column support. With my gauges out, I fed a wire down through the steering column support, then tied it onto the end of my outer cable and pulled it up through. It was not easy. You've got to do it. I used 1/2 inch of steel brake line for the repair. I scrubbed it clean with abrasives on the inside and the outside. I filled it with an epoxy. I considered using solder, except solder is a bit soft and it can fracture if it work hardens. So I inserted some epoxy into the steel tube, then with the help of a bench vise and some pliers, I screwed the steel tube onto the ends of the cables, ensuring that the join was in the center of the steel tube. When it was joined, I crimped the steel tube and threw it in an oven to cure the epoxy. I then ground the outside smooth with the bench grinder, which also enabled the cable to fit inside the outer cable. I actually had to feed the repair through the entire outer cable, having fit the outer cable separately to the inner cable, which was because it was in the oven having the epoxy cured. You want to make sure your repair is not in a part of the cable that has too much of a bend in it, or it will bind up, jam, and most likely break again. As of making this video, my repair has lasted 3 weeks of daily driving. I'd like to get a year out of it. Cross your fingers for me. If you found a better way to do this, let me know. Leave a video response or make a comment.